Hey, what's up everybody? Josh White here, back with part 4 of my What Would Pokemon Look Like If They Were in Monster Hunter video series. Before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the new subscribers who have joined my crew here from the last video that I posted. That was actually my fastest growing video so far on my channel, besides like one of my reaction videos, which I don't really count. So I just want to say thanks to all y'all for subscribing and all the likes and comments on my previous video. I really appreciate it. We're growing here slowly but surely, and with that out of the way, let's talk about Sceptile here. So as you can see, some of the monsters from Monster Hunter that I was referencing for Sceptile's design was like Puke, Great Roggy, and you'll see later actually like a little bit of Toby Kadachi. So when I was first thinking about how I would do the design, originally I was thinking of something more like a raptor, but I wasn't quite feeling it, so I wanted to go a little bit more reptilian and its posture and just overall how it looks. I just didn't want to go too dinosaur-like. So that's why you see with that first initial sketch there, I didn't end up going with it. Now I'm working on a new sketch, fleshing it out and everything. And you'll really see here, like especially in like the face, a lot of Puke. I incorporated into that. For Great Roggy, just kind of like the body type of it. And then the tail was kind of like a Toby Kadachi inspired. So you can see here I'm just kind of throwing in all the details and everything. When I was first designing this, you can see on like the forearms, the Sceptile's blades, I kind of made them too small. Like you'll see at the end of the video, I ended up making them bigger and more prominent. So just kind of ignoring that for now. But the only things that I kind of had to put a lot of thought into was how I was going to do the tail. Because, you know, Sceptile's tail is basically almost like a tree. So I just wanted to make sure that when I was designing it, I kind of kept that in the design. So when I was coming up with different iterations, I just wanted to make sure it still looked like it was some sort of foliage or plant or something. Even though it would be, you know, technically it'd be like not feathers, but kind of like fur or something, I guess. But that's where the Toby Kadachi, I felt like Toby Kadachi's tail was like a perfect to transfer over to here, because I just feel like that matched perfectly for what I was going for. And I know Sceptile, I know what y'all are gonna say, Sceptile's not a poison type in Pokemon, but guess what? This is a redesign, and we're transferring into Monster Hunter. There's no grass types or grass elements or anything like that. So I just felt since it's reptilian and since it's got these kind of quills and everything, like we got to give it poison element. So like you can see those sort of quills coming out the tail, those would be like poison tipped quills that would shoot out, similar to like Toby Kadachi does. Same thing with like the forearms, like those wouldn't fire out during the fight like the tail quills would, but I mean if it hits you with the forearm quills, then you know you get poisoned that way too. Also the seeds on Sceptile's back, because I didn't know what those things were at first until I looked up what they were, and they're, you know, on whatever Pokemon site it was, they said there were seeds. So I was like, I'm not gonna put seeds on its back for Monster Hunter. So like I just kind of thought they always looked like pollen, like little balls of pollen. So that's kind of what I felt like this could be, like where in Monster Hunter Sceptile, like whatever type of pollen spores or something they get caught up on Sceptile's back or something. Maybe in the fight it could be kind of similar to like Zinogre, like how, you know, when you knock Zinogre over, you can go and grab those thunderbugs or whatever from its back to collect for loot. And I figured like Sceptile could kind of be like the same thing, where one of the material requirements is whatever those type of pollen things would be on its back. So when you knock it over, while it's still stunned there, you can go over to its back and loot that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the idea I had in terms of how to, like, gameplay mechanics. Yeah, not too much else for this. Obviously, I know some of y'all want like ecology and lore and stuff. So clearly Sceptile would be, you know, a forest dweller, a jungle dweller. So if you think of like ancient forests from Monster Hunter World, that would kind of be perfect for Sceptile there. But here you have the completed card. There's Sceptile, the Barbed Jungle Wyvern. Monster class Bird Wyvern, element none, ailments poison, weakness fire and ice. So that's it for Sceptile, and now let's get on to the next one. Alright, so now we're on to Great Tusk. I was really excited to do this design because it's kind of like how I've told you all in the previous videos. I like in Monster Hunter more the creatures that aren't just straight up dragons. I like the variety, so I was hyped to do this design here. Obviously I referenced Gammoth because in Monster Hunter that's the only elephant-like creature we have. And you see there that first sketch there, I just wasn't really feeling the shape of it. It just wasn't feeling right. So, hey, do what I gotta do. I just sketched over the silhouette there of Gammoth and then kind of adjusted it to how I wanted it to look. Because that first sketch was kind of looking too much like those, I forgot those elephant mounts from World of Warcraft. So I was like, I don't want it looking like some World of Warcraft creature. You know, I'm trying to go for Monster Hunter, obviously. So yeah, just kind of fleshing out the details here, adding all the spikes. This one didn't. So with Great Tusk, the biggest issue for me was there's just kind of just the color palette, really. I mean, not so much like the spikes in the back, you know, like the purple, like, you know, that can translate into Monster Hunter, and even the pink spikes, but the pink fur, I was like, I don't know, it kind of looks silly, just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then Great Tusk, it has those three little, I don't know what they're supposed to be, scales type of indentions there on the side of it. So you'll see I ended up incorporating that there into like the shoulders, and then right before the tusks, and then also along like the thighs and the rib cage there to kind of just give it like armored scaling look. So that's kind of how I went about that there. Yeah, I want there to be more creatures like this in Monster Hunter. I thought we had a big missed opportunity with Iceborne, with not getting Gammoth, because we got Glavenus in Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and then in Rise they gave us Astalos and Mizutsune, so the only one of the Fated Four we haven't gotten with that last gen was Gammoth. You know, I feel like we got a little bit ripped off there. So, yeah, man, bring back Gammoth for Monster Hunter Wilds. You know, that's what I want. So in terms of Great Tusk, in terms of maybe the fight, it'd be similar. It'd play out similar to like Gammoth, or even something like a Diablos, where it's very front heavy with all of its attacks, do crazy damage, lots of charges. But you know, if you break off those tusks, the fight would become much more manageable and almost kind of easy there. Yeah, ecology, you know, it would dwell probably in like desert areas, steppe areas type of thing, open, maybe even like open savanna types. So like in actually in that Monster Hunter Wilds teaser, that ending sequence where it's like overlooking like the valley, where it almost looks like an African savanna type of thing, that I feel like would be a perfect type of environment here for Great Tusk. Yeah, you can see here when I'm coloring the fur there, I was really considering changing up the color of it, but I wanted to kind of stay true to the Pokemon itself. So I think it still looks a little goofy having just random pink fur around its ankles, but you know, whatever. And then you can see here with those scalings, I kept the armor scaling, kept it like that reddish color. I thought that looked cool. It's just the pink fur, man. It seems so out of place. And then you can also see that kind of threw a little bit of like stripes there beneath that back ridge, just to kind of give it a little bit more like primal look to it. You know, that's a nice little tip for y'all if you're designing something. Give something kind of like tiger stripes or something, or like stripes like Tigrex if you want it to look more primal. You know, it's an easy cop out, and I'm all about that. So yeah, just throwing in the shade and all here and all that. Don't really have too much else to say about this. So after the sketch here is over, I'll come back and we'll wrap this one up. And there you have it, Great Tusk, the Terra Crusher, Monster Class, Fang Beast, Element None, Ailment Stun, and Weakness is Ice. So with this one out of the way, let's move on to the final redesign of the video. And now we're on to the crown jewel, Tyrantrum, my favorite Pokemon of all time. I've loved T-Rexes since I was 3 years old. I've been drawing them my whole life. So this one for me, this is my bread and butter drawing this thing. It wasn't hard at all. As you can see there, I kind of referenced mainly Anjanath for it, because Anjanath design-wise is very similar to how Tyrantrum I feel like would look in Monster Hunter. I mean, just it's already a T-Rex, and then it's already got like the fur on its back and everything, so it was kind of a perfect candidate. I figured maybe in like Monster Hunter lore, it could kind of be Tyrantrum and Anjanath would kind of be like cousins. Maybe they both branched off from whatever same species evolved, like that. So it'd be very similar to an Anjanath, even like the terrain and everything it would inhabit. You know, jungles or even like open savannas or like deserts, kind of like the Wildspire Waste. Yeah, Tyrantrum, the Pokemon, I think it translates perfectly into Monster Hunter. I mean, it's got a bunch of these cool designs and everything to it. I mean, I remember back when Tyrantrum was revealed for Pokemon X and Y, dude. I can't tell you how hyped I was, because my whole life, man, I've been waiting for a legit T-Rex Pokemon, and we never got one. Tyranitar doesn't count. Tyranitar does not even closely resemble a T-Rex. So my whole life, I always wanted a fossil Pokemon that was a T-Rex, that was a rock dragon type. I even used to do Fakemon all the time when I was a kid, drawing, designing them, and I had that idea of a T-Rex Pokemon that was a fossil, rock dragon type. So then when they finally announced that thing, dude, I was so hyped. I couldn't believe it. And the design couldn't be any cooler. It's red, my favorite color. It's got a freaking crown on its head. It has a beard, and it has like this kind of like, furry mane type of mantle. It's a straight up king, dude. Like, let's be real. It's the best Pokemon. Hands down, best Pokemon. So yeah, very easy for me to translate here into Monster Hunter. No problems at all. In terms of maybe how the fight would go, just basically picture Anjanath. Not much else would be different, except this one be Dragon Element. And then I had the idea where, so in Pokemon Tyrantrum, I forget what the ability is. Was like Strong Jaw or something, I forget, but it enhances all of its the power of its bite attacks, and they can learn like Fire Fang, Ice Fang, and Thunder Fang. So for like the fight in Monster Hunter, I figured it would be Dragon Element, but when it bites you, it would inflict you with any of 3 ailments. It'd be Fire Ailment, Thunder Ailment, or Fire Blight, Ice Blight, or Thunder Blight. So it's just random. Like you would see. So if it had like a breath attack, it would be Dragon, but when it would go to bite you, you could tell basically by like the particles or whatever coming out of its jaw, like what type of blight it would hit you with. So I just kind of thought that'd be like a cool concept, where even though it's Dragon, it can hit you with these different types of blight attacks. Yeah, just throwing in the colors here. I knocked this one out super quick, man. I was just on autopilot. Love the way it turned out. Don't really have much else to say about this, really. It's a T-Rex, dude. As cool as it gets. So yeah, let's just let the rest of this drawing here play out, and then at the end we will wrap it up. So see you then. And there you have it, Tyrantrum, the Despot Wyvern, Monster Class Brute Wyvern, Element Dragon, ailments like I said, Fire Blight, Ice Blight, or Thunder Blight. Weakness would be Dragon. Yeah, but so that's it for this one. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, leave some comments down below and let me know which of these redesigns is your favorite, or even if you have some cool ecology or lore ideas of your own for these monsters. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this kind of content. I'm already in the process of making the next video of the series, so you don't want to miss that. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.